The External Affairs Minister also met with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Manila on Wednesday to discuss priority areas including trade, tariffs, energy, defense, critical minerals and artificial intelligence. Both the leaders discussed West Asia crisis, energy security and global market stability. The talks focused on key India-US partnership areas including trade, energy, defense, critical minerals, AI and regional as well as global issues of mutual interest. And Dr. Jaishankar also had a meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. And during this meeting, the minister noted that India and China need to address key aspects of their relationship, including fair market access, trade balance and supply chain concerns, as both the sides work towards normalizing bilateral ties. The External Affairs Minister also reviewed bilateral relations with Russia's Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov. The leaders discussed trade, energy, connectivity, technology, mobility, the Ukraine conflict and Gulf situation, while reiterating concern over the safety of Indian seafarers. Dr. Jaishankar also met Singapore's Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan and exchanged views on regional and global developments. He appreciated his insights and assessments on key issues. Let's now bring in our expert guest, Atul Aneja now joins us, well-known foreign affairs expert. Good afternoon to you. Mr. Aneja, what do you make of the kind of engagements that the External Affairs Minister had in Manila, considering the kind of situation the world finds itself in and the agenda that India has to sort of mitigate its ill effects?
Gautam, I think it's very, excuse me, I think it's very important to assess the tone of the External Affairs Minister's engagements and his speech. I think in a world which is in turmoil because of various conflicts, which we have already discussed in your news reports, it's Ukraine and it's Iran principally right now. In that chaotic situation, what External Affairs Minister is trying to point out is that ASEAN and India are a ray of hope, and they need to look forward and optimistically and see areas and seek opportunities and take it forward. So I think it's a very, very different. It's like giving a lead to the world on the way forward, and where India and ASEAN can show the path. I think that is the overall tone which I thought was interesting. And then, of course, Gautam, is the very comprehensive meetings which he has had of countries belonging to the Indo-Pacific, and not necessarily Indo-Pacific, because he also met Sergey Lavrov of Russia. And I think the meeting with Foreign Minister Wang Yi was exceptionally important, given the fact that this is taking place just probably a month or a couple of months before the BRICS summit, which is taking place. I'm sure that conversation would have also taken place in terms of preparation and the final sort of finishing of the BRICS summit and Chinese contribution in it. I think overall meeting with Singapore Foreign Minister and the Philippines, Australia, I think it's the entire canvas gets covered. And one final thought which I have is that it's not a meeting which has taken place, out of the blue, because it's a follow-up of the Prime Minister's visit to the region, specifically to Indonesia and Australia. So I think it sort of deepens India's engagement with the region, and especially in the maritime domain. And it is also giving a new direction in terms of tone, in anticipation, of course, of the bigger meeting of the BRICS, which India is going to host.
Yes, how critical do you think these engagements really are in terms of showing that stability of the essence is where the Indo-Pacific is concerned, which is why because considering what's happening in the Gulf and at the same time in Europe on the eastern side with Ukraine and Russia, this becomes very, very important that another part of the world, a key part of the world with key sea lanes, key trade links and key activities overall does not get disrupted by anything, even other, not directly war, that heavens forbid should not happen, but even other hindrances
Absolutely, Gautam, because we are in a multipolar world, and Asia, ASEAN, this is one part of this new multipolarity which is taking place. And what the external affairs was trying to show is that this particular zone and this particular port can be the prime mover of the new world order. I mean, that's the subtext which I thought was there, that you have things are moving away from other regions into the ASEAN zone, into the Indo-Pacific zone. You had India, you have China, you have Russia. So it's in a way hinting at positivity, and what that positivity can be imparted by a new world order, where these are the principal players in the Indo-Pacific and in Eurasia. I thought that is the subtext of optimism which the External Affairs Minister was demonstrating during his articulation in the region, that the global pecking order is changing, and perhaps the leadership of the global system is also, in a way, going into a big transition where with Asia and ASEAN and Eurasia playing a major role.
Mm-hmm. His emphasis was also on building partnerships further, de-risking and diversifying, bringing down barriers to movement of people, to movement at free movement at sea, and of course trade and commerce. Do you feel that that is something that this region altogether is moving towards further, or is it kind of stuck in the kind of a zone that does not really help the situation?
No, Gautam, it is moving in that direction. And what the External Affairs Minister is saying is that we now need a deep and comprehensive engagement in all sectors, including people to people, which you mentioned just now, and supply chains, de-risking. These are sort of pathways in which India and ASEAN needs to collaborate and pull the world out of this chaotic situation and wars and instability which we see in other parts of the world. That's one. I just want to make one small point here, that India's own approach is no longer tailing any other country's doctrine in the Indo-Pacific. I mean, India is engaging the region under the template of the Mahasagar doctrine, which means holistic engagement across regions. So this is India's own doctrine, and it also emphasizes on inclusivity rather than containment of any particular country. So I think India is now showing much more clearly that it stands on its own footing, and that it is looking at the world through Indian eyes and not through anybody else's eyes.
Right. Well, let's hope that progress is made on these fronts along the lines that have been suggested by India and its External Affairs Minister. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Atul Aneja.
You're welcome, Gautam.
Thank you.